Hey guys, this is Richard, your host, with another marvelous video. We've slowly made our way to the business end of X-Men 97, and the first part of the 3-episode season finale has finally exposed the magnitude of the threat awaiting the mutants. Previously, we've seen Bastion's twisted creation, the Prime Sentinels posing a grave danger for the X-Men, and the final story arc is all about the consequences of this advanced Sentinel program. In this video, we'll explore the physiological details of the Prime Sentinels and cover the horrifying parts of their unique anatomy that spell out mutant nightmare in every way. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. How are the Prime Sentinels in X-Men 97 different from the comics? X-Men 97 has picked up some of the most intriguing comic book story arcs, and the show has added some subtle twists to the familiar stories to make them unpredictable. The case with Bastion and the Prime Sentinels is also somewhat similar. In the comic books, the Prime Sentinels were created by Bastion under the secretive Operation Zero Tolerance program, just like it happens in the show. However, the nature of the Prime Sentinels is quite different from what we've seen in the comics. For instance, the Prime Sentinels in the comic books are fitted with cybernetic nanotech implants, which transform humans into armored weapons against the mutants. In the show, this has been further modified, and as Cable reveals, the Prime Sentinels have been created after rewriting the DNA of human volunteers who opted for the program without knowing the true extent of the damage. The same techno-organic virus that was used to infect Cable when he was a baby has been used to rewrite the DNA, and these sleeper cells loyal to the anti-mutant cause are just waiting to be activated against the mutants. Even the nature of the Zero Tolerance program in the show is much more severe than what we've seen in the comics, and here, Bastion's plans are almost genocidal in the hope of a utopia where the world is run solely by humans.
It imitates life.
How are humans transformed into Prime Sentinels in X-Men 97? The first episode of the 3-episode finale, titled Tolerance's Extinction, deals with the seriousness of the situation as the Prime Sentinels show signs of taking over. We see Trish Telby, Beast's friendly journalist, turning into a Prime Sentinel, and there are many other unsuspecting transformations, including Sunspot's butler and Bastion's own mother. It's revealed that a huge number of Prime Sentinels have been kept in the waiting, and even the human hosts had no idea about their true nature until it was activated. In a chilling encounter with Val Cooper, Bastion reveals that he started the weaponization of civilians against mutants with a particular goal in mind. He also spills the beans on how he transforms humans into the deadly robotic versions of themselves. Most of the participants in his program volunteered willingly to be a part of the program because they felt threatened by mutants in some way. However, Bastion never told them about the technical details, and once the procedure was complete, these humans had no memory of ever being in his facility or undergoing the procedure. They continued to live their regular lives until they were activated and transformed into Prime Sentinels with the sole purpose of neutralizing any mutant threats around them. What do the Prime Sentinels look like? Once the humans transform into Prime Sentinels, there are some very noticeable bodily changes. The body becomes more rigid, and the mannerisms of that individual are just like that of a bloodthirsty zombie, only they're after mutants instead of humans. All the Prime Sentinels seem to have glowing yellow eyes, and their skin develops distinct pink lines that are probably from the techno-organic virus within them. Their voice turns robotic, but retains the human tone, and it's almost like hearing yourself on an AI tool. The power transition is also incredible, and immediately after transforming into Prime Sentinels, the individuals are extremely powerful, strong enough to take down the likes of Wolverine and Beast with a single punch. What physical features make the Prime Sentinels so powerful? The transformed Prime Sentinels are more than capable of neutralizing the X-Men, unless the mutants come up with clever tricks to get the better of them. So far, in all their face-offs, it's been clear that the Prime Sentinels overpower the mutants in most ways. Besides the extreme physical strength and brute force, the Prime Sentinels also have the power of flight. They can remain suspended in the air from what looks like tiny jetpacks on their feet. When required, they can even fly around at great speeds and chase the X-Men by air as well. In the latest episode of X-Men 97, there's a scene where a group of Prime Sentinels are chasing Cyclops, Cable, and Jean Grey as they're trying to get away in their super-fast Blackbird. The Sentinels even manage to catch up with the jet and crash it to the ground. Overall, they're super strong, super fast, and incredibly tough to cause damage. The Prime Sentinels are a force to reckon with. How powerful is their energy blast? One of the main modes of attack that we can see among the Prime Sentinels is the powerful energy blast emitted from their hands. These are common in almost all the Prime Sentinels that we've seen so far, and the energy blasts are powerful enough to deter the optic blasts of Cyclops. These energy attacks can blast through walls, destroy their surroundings, and the perfect impact on the mutants can even kill them. The hands of the Prime Sentinels have been weaponized like other body parts, and these energy blasts emerge from their palms or fists when they extend their hands and intend on attack. Are the Prime Sentinels sentient? From whatever we've observed of these freakish half-human, half-robots in the comic books and in X-Men 97, they don't exactly show signs of sentience. After being transformed from humans to Prime Sentinels, they simply obey the programmed purpose in them, which is to neutralize all mutants around them. They don't necessarily show much intelligence in their actions, and their attacks are not exactly tactical, even though they're coordinated from the same command center. The Prime Sentinels can't think on their feet and improvise, and this gives the X-Men a few opportunities to come up with smart moves that can allow them to overpower the Sentinels. For instance, the scene where a group of Prime Sentinels are seen creeping up on an injured Rogue, they had enough time to eliminate her if they were quick enough before Wolverine arrived. Again, when Cyclops, Cable, and Jean Grey were overpowering the Sentinels by fighting together in a bizarre family reunion, the Prime Sentinels failed to change their strategy and adapt to the new challenges quickly enough. This is probably because of the fact that the Prime Sentinels don't have the power of free thinking, which is essential to make changes along the way and modify strategies under changing circumstances. Bastion claims that most of his Prime Sentinel forces comprise of humans who voluntarily became a part of the program without knowing the true nature of the modifications done to them. However, there have been enough signs to suggest that Bastion won't hesitate to turn a non-willing participant into a Prime Sentinel if he feels the need. Magneto was kept in captivity and restrained against his will for what seemed to be a grand plan to turn him into a powerful Prime Sentinel. After Bastion discovers that Dr. Cooper has set Magneto free, and it seems like she'll now be forcibly transformed into a Prime Sentinel as well. Is the transformation process irreversible? This is a very important question, especially because we've already seen some major characters turned into Prime Sentinels. Can they ever be turned back to their human form? Of course, it's theoretically possible because an altered gene can be rewritten and fixed once again. However, we haven't seen a single instance of such a thing happening in the comic books or in the show. Anyone who's transformed into a Prime Sentinel hasn't transformed back into his or her human form, and we have to wait and watch until the end of the season finale to find out if that is really possible. Of course, the genius minds of Cable, Beast, and Bishop can come up with a cure for the condition, and even if the cure is from the future, it'll still serve the purpose. Is it possible to change a mutant into a Prime Sentinel? The basic theory that works behind the creation of Prime Sentinels can be modified to work on mutants as well, and there's enough hints in X-Men 97 to suggest that Bastion had such plans. Rewriting the DNA of mutants and infecting them with the techno-organic virus will also cause similar changes, and Bastion's master plan was most likely to make use of Magneto and turn him into one of the most powerful Prime Sentinels. In the recently released episode, Sunspot and Jubilee can be seen taken in by a few Prime Sentinels who don't try to kill them and simply take them captive. We can only assume that Bastion and Mr. Sinister have some crazy plans for these poor mutants as well, and will not be surprised if they try to change them into Prime Sentinels too. Can the Prime Sentinels reproduce? Beast has experimented on the retrieved corpse of Bolivar Trask, who turned into a Prime Sentinel in the previous episode and attacked the X-Men. After examining the anatomy thoroughly, Beast came up with a terrifying theory about how the Prime Sentinel program is actually way more far-reaching than what was initially assumed. He suggests that the Prime Sentinels are even capable of reproduction, and they'll end up creating a whole new species at one point of time. This is largely because of their human nature still intact, and the host can actually function as humans till it's time. If they reproduce, the offspring will also have hidden Prime Sentinel traits because the DNA restructuring will reflect in the child as well. Thus, you can imagine a nightmarish situation for the X-Men and other mutants, where the Prime Sentinels will keep growing in number to keep the mutants in check. Is it possible to kill the Prime Sentinels? The answer to this question is complicated and tricky because of the nature of the Prime Sentinels. They're partly human, which means that they can be killed after sufficient damage is caused to their physical bodies. On the other hand, they also have a robotic side, which can't really be killed, but can be destroyed and neutralized temporarily. We've seen with the Bolivar Trask turned Prime Sentinel that he was neutralized after a hit from Cable's futuristic weapon, and it can be assumed that he's no longer functional. However, the Prime Sentinels that we see in the first part of the Tolerance's Extinction storyline show a lot more resilience. During the fight with Wolverine, the feral mutant can be seen ripping into the bodies using his claws, but the Prime Sentinels still continue to fight almost like zombies. You can see some of these Sentinels fighting back, even after their arms and limbs have been severed or they've been impaled. It takes a special attack that'll completely immobilize them to stop their advances, or it can be something as effective as Magneto's powerful electromagnetic pulse that sends shockwaves across the planet at the end of the episode. This seems to power down all the existing Prime Sentinels for now, but there's nothing to suggest that they can't be revived and reworked by Bastion and Mr. Sinister. In the comic books, the Prime Sentinels were never dead as such, but the program was brought to an end after Bastion was apprehended by the X-Men and S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. Don't forget to tell us in the comments below about your thoughts on the Prime Sentinels, and also let us know your opinion on how the X-Men will deal with them. Do you think that Magneto's powerful electromagnetic impulse has taken down the Prime Sentinels for good, or is there going to be a revival to set the war rolling? And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one, and be safe. Thanks, everyone.